Build your dreams, live rich, and leave rich.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dismantle the biggest lie you've ever been told about your career. And what is that lie? It's the idea that you have to trade the best 40 years of your life just to survive. We're about to dive into a movement that offers a real mathematical escape route, a way to finally, truly own your life. Let's start with this powerful idea right here. For generations, society has sold us this plan where retirement is an age, 60, maybe 65. But the entire principle of the FIRE movement, which stands for financial independence, retire early, is that this is, well, it's a lie. Your retirement isn't an age, it's a number. A very specific number that you can calculate, and you know what? We're going to do that today. You see, for as long as any of us can remember, we've been told a story about work. It's a story that says you have to give up the best, most energetic years of your life, all for a paycheck. But what if that story, that entire 40-year plan, is actually the biggest financial trap of all? This is the old industrial age myth we are here to shatter. The path they lay out is simple, right? Work for 40 years, and then maybe, just maybe, if you're lucky, you get to enjoy a few years of freedom when your body is old and tired. The date for your freedom is set by your company, not by you. Just think about that for a second. You're not actually living your life. You are renting it out 1 month at a time for a salary. But there is an escape route. It's mathematical. It's a way to buy back your time, your freedom, and your life. And the entire strategy, believe it or not, can be understood through a very simple, very powerful story: the Golden Goose. The name of this escape route is FIRE, Financial Independence, Retire Early. But please don't misunderstand the goal here. This is not about being lazy. It's about power. It's about having total control over your most valuable, non-renewable asset, your time. It's about getting to a place where work becomes a choice, not a cage. So it all comes down to this choice right here. On one side, you've got the hamster wheel. That's your traditional 9-to-5 job. You run and the paychecks keep coming, but the second you stop running, the money stops. Your time is literally owned by your salary. Now look at the other side. You have the Golden Goose. This isn't a job. This is your portfolio of assets, your investments. You build it once and it lays golden eggs for you in the form of returns, forever. It works while you sleep, while you travel, while you learn something new. You finally own your time. Okay, so this isn't some vague dream of getting rich one day. No, the FIRE movement is a project with a very clearly defined finish line. And that finish line is a specific number. Let's figure out how to calculate your number right now. This is probably the most important question you'll ever ask yourself financially. To be completely free, how large does your investment portfolio, your Golden Goose, actually need to be? Well, thankfully, there's a simple but incredibly powerful formula that has become the cornerstone of this entire movement. And this is it, the core of FIRE math, the rule of 25. This simple rule calculates your FIRE number, the exact size your Golden Goose needs to be to fund your life forever. Now, while this is the global standard, for us in India, a lot of experts suggest a more conservative rule of 30 or even 35 to build a stronger buffer against inflation. But the principle is exactly the same. It gives you a specific mathematical target for your freedom. Okay, so let's walk through the actual calculation. This might just be the most important bit of math you ever do for your future. First, you need to track and add up everything you spend in a typical month. Then, you multiply that number by 12. That's your annual cost of living. And finally, you multiply that yearly number by 25. That result? That's your FIRE number. And this just shows you how a real target can suddenly appear out of the fog. Let's say your family's lifestyle, your rent, your food, bills, travel, everything, costs about 1 lakh rupees per month. Okay, so that's 12 lakhs a year. You multiply that by 25, and your FIRE number, your freedom number, is 3 crore rupees. That's it. That is the exact size your Golden Goose needs to be. Now, I know, seeing a number like 3 crores might feel a little intimidating, but its purpose is the exact opposite. This is not a lottery ticket you hope to win one day. It's a finish line on a map. For the very first time, you know exactly where you need to go. It transforms the vague idea of retirement into a clear, mathematical goal that you can actually start working towards. All right, let's move to the next logical step. Once you've actually built your 3 crore rupee goose, how do you live off it forever without the goose ever getting smaller? This is where the real magic happens. This is such a critical question, right? Especially if you retire early. If you retire at 40, your savings might need to last you for 50 or even 60 years. So how do you harvest those golden eggs without ever harming the goose that lays them? The answer lies in another simple, elegant rule.
This is the famous 4% rule, also known as the safe withdrawal rate. What it means is that you can safely take out 4% of your total portfolio each year and have a very high chance that your money will last forever. Now, again, for a long retirement in India, a safer 3% withdrawal rate is often recommended. So in our example, 4% of 3 crores is 12 lakhs per year. A safer 3% would be 9 lakhs. This is how you live off the golden eggs without ever touching the goose.
And just look at this visual. It explains the core of sustainability perfectly. You live off the golden eggs, that tiny 4% slice that becomes your income. The goose itself, the other 96% of your portfolio, remains completely untouched. It becomes a perpetual money machine working for you year after year after year. So here's the really brilliant part. Your investment portfolio doesn't just need to grow by 4%. Historically, a balanced portfolio might average, say, 7–8% growth per year. So if you're only taking out 4%, what happens to the remaining 3–4% growth? It stays in the portfolio. And that surplus acts like a powerful shield, fighting off the monster of inflation, making sure your purchasing power doesn't shrink over time. In fact, your goose actually keeps growing. So, we know the target number, and we know how to live off it. But the big question is, how on earth do you build a multi-core goose without waiting 40 years? This is where let's call it the brutal truth of the FIRE movement comes into play. It requires a radical shift in one key habit. Let me be absolutely clear about this. Following the conventional advice of saving 10% or 15% of your income, well, that's going to lead you to a conventional 40-year career. To achieve something extraordinary, like retiring in 15 or 20 years, you have to do something extraordinary. And the key to the whole thing is an extreme savings rate, often between 50 and 70% of your take-home pay. And this chart just illustrates the sheer power of your savings rate. Just look at the difference. At a 10% rate, you're looking at a traditional 40 to 50-year timeline. Okay, bump that up to 25%, and you cut it down to about 25 years. But jump to a 50% savings rate, and you can reach financial independence in as little as 15 to 17 years. You literally cut your career in half. Look, achieving this requires a pretty profound lifestyle shift. It means consciously choosing to avoid lifestyle inflation when your income goes up. It means saying no to the fancy car with the massive EMI, and instead funneling that exact same money into assets that work for you. Your focus shifts completely from trying to acquire social status to building a machine of financial freedom. And at the end of the day, FIRE is not about laziness or hating your job. It's about freedom. It's about getting to a point where work is a choice, not a necessity. Your FIRE number isn't just a financial goal. Think of it as the price tag for your peace of mind. It's the amount of money you need to finally stop renting your life and start owning it. And that is the fundamental question the FIRE movement asks of you. The math is simple, the path is clear, though it's not easy. You now know the formula to calculate the exact price of your own freedom. So the only question left is, what are you willing to do to pay for it? Your answer to that question could change the entire course of your life.